Now our next step is issuing Certificate of Origin document. Now what is Certificate of Origin? A Certificate of Origin is a document that certifies the origin of goods being exported from one country to another. It serves as evidence to customs authorities and other stakeholders that the goods originate from a specific country as stated in the certificate. The purpose of the CO is to ensure compliance with the trade regulations, determine applicable tariffs, and facilitate international trade. Now let's understand who issues the Certificate of Origin. It is important to understand that the country of origin document is typically issued by the designated authority or organization in the exporting country. This could be a chamber of commerce, a trade association, a government agency, or any authorized body responsible for certifying the origin of goods. Also, let's understand what is included in the Certificate of Origin. Now, Certificate of Origin includes, firstly, the exporter information. This includes the details of the exporter such as their name, address, and contact information. This helps identify the party responsible for exporting the goods. Secondly, it would be the importer information. Similarly, it includes details of the importer, including their name, address, and contact information. This helps identify the party receiving the goods in the importing country. Thirdly, the description of goods. A detailed description of the goods being exported is provided in the Certificate of Origin. This includes information such as the product name, quantity, value, and other relevant details. Fourthly, country of origin information. The Certificate of Origin specifies the country in which the goods were produced, manufactured, or processed. This is the primary purpose of the certificate and is crucial for determining tariff rates and trade preferences. Fifthly, exporter declaration. The Certificate of Origin may include a declaration or statement by the exporter certifying that the goods being exported comply with the rules of origin criteria specified by the importing country or relevant trade agreements. Sixthly, the authorized signatures. The Certificate of Origin is typically signed and dated by authorized personnel from the issuing authority or organization. Their signatures authenticate the document and signify that the information provided is accurate and valid. And the seventh point is seals or stamps. Some certificates of origin may bear official seals or stamps from the issuing authority to further authenticate the document and prevent tampering or fraud. Next one is the validity period. The Certificate of Origin may specify a validity period indicating the duration for which the certificate is considered valid. This ensures that the certification remains relevant and up to date within a specified time frame. The ninth point is additional declarations or statements. Depending on the requirements of the importing country or the nature of the goods, the Certificate of Origin may include additional declarations, statements, or clauses as necessary. Overall, the Certificate of Origin plays a crucial role in international trade by providing assurance regarding the origin of goods and facilitating customs clearance procedures. It helps ensure compliance with trade regulations, supports fair trade practices, and promotes transparency in global commerce. And our next step is issuing commercial invoice. The commercial invoice is typically issued when the goods are ready for shipment or packed for shipment. This document provides the buyer with a final bill for the transaction and facilitating customs clearance and payment processing. Issuing the commercial invoice after the goods are ready and packed is important because then commercial invoice accurately reflects additional charges incurred during the shipping process, such as the freight charges, insurance, or customs duties. It also allows the seller to include the actual shipping details such as the bill of lading number and shipping date on the invoice. And another important aspect of issuing commercial invoice after the shipment is the commercial invoice provides the buyer with a formal request for payment and serves as a legal document for customs clearance and proof of the transaction. Now, what is commercial invoice? A commercial invoice is a document issued by a seller to a buyer that serves a bill for the goods or services sold in an international transaction. It is a legally binding document that provides details of the transaction, including the type, quantity, and value of the goods or services being shipped. Now, this commercial invoice is used by customs authorities for clearance purposes and serves as evidence of the transaction for both the buyer and the seller. It is important to understand that commercial invoice is an important and basic export document. It is also known as document of contents, as it contains all the important information necessary for the preparation of other export documents. For many countries, there are no prescribed special invoice forms. Exporters can use their normal invoices used for indigenous trade for exports made outside the country and show the particulars required by the importer in terms of the contract. However, there are special invoicing procedures in respect to exports to certain countries like USA and Australia. Now let's understand what is included in commercial invoice. Here's what is typically included in a commercial invoice. First one is seller and buyer information. The commercial invoice includes the names, addresses, and contact information of both the seller, who is the exporter, and the buyer, who is the importer. The second one is invoice number. Each commercial invoice is assigned a unique identification number for tracking and reference purposes. This helps both parties easily identify and manage the invoice. The third one is invoice date. The date when the commercial invoice is issued. It signifies the date of the transaction and serves as a reference point for payment and the shipment. The next one is shipping information. The details regarding the shipment, including the origin and destination addresses, as well as any shipping terms or instructions. The fifth one is description of goods or services. A detailed description of the goods or services being sold, including the type, quantity, unit price, and total value for each item. This section provides clarity on what is being shipped and its value. The sixth point is the total amount due. The total amount payable by the buyer for the goods or services outlined in the commercial invoice. This includes the subtotal, taxes, shipping charges, and any other applicable fees. The seventh point is currency. The currency in which the transaction will be conducted. This ensures clarity on the pricing for both parties, especially in international transactions involving different currencies. The eighth point is payment terms. The agreed upon terms of payment, including any discounts, credit terms, or payment deadlines. This ensures both parties are clear on when and how the payment will be made. The ninth point is shipping terms. Details regarding the shipping method, carrier, and delivery items, including any applicable INCO terms, example FOB, CIF. This clarifies the responsibilities and obligations of the buyer and the seller for shipping and delivery. The 10th point is authorized signatures. The commercial invoice may require signatures or approvals from authorized personnel within the seller's organization, confirming the accuracy of the invoice and authorizing the transaction. So in our case, commercial invoice is issued by Canada Corporation and it is issued to India Corporation with one copy for Canadian Border Services Agency. Now, purpose of this document is, this is the official invoice accompanying the shipment. In our example, the commercial invoice includes important information like the product description. Here it would be 1000 kg of fresh potatoes. HS code for potatoes, which is equal to, my friends, this is another important topic called as HS code. So we will look into this concept in detail in our upcoming sessions. So till then, let's hold on and let's stay with our examples. So the next part in commercial invoice is unit price, which is in our case the 1 Canadian dollar per kilogram. Hence, the total value is 1000 Canadian dollar, currency Canadian dollar. Incoterms FOB at Port of Quebec. Hence, overall, a commercial invoice serves as a formal document that facilitates international trade by providing essential details of the transaction and ensuring compliance with customs regulations and payment terms. It is a critical document for both the buyer and the seller in documenting and completing the sale of goods or services across borders.